Yeah.
Um, oh, so we're recording.
You're
Okay.
recording.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, my name is Damian. I'm one of the spinal cord injury nurse specialists at the Spine Injuries Association, and I joined SIA last year, almost coming up for a year now. And prior to that, I worked at Salisbury Spinal Unit for 25 years as a clinical nurse specialist there. Um, I've got a good understanding about all things spinal cord injury. When it comes to, the sort of healthy eating diet side, maybe not so much. But I did work very closely with the dietitian in Salisbury Spinal Unit, and I have got some of her information as well. And I think I've got some information about, weight loss following spinal cord injury, or how to lose weight in a healthy way following spinal cord injury. So I can probably share that with you as well, because I think, we know that there's often quite a trend when you have a spinal cord injury. Often you get quite significant weight loss through, just the loss of muscle tone, but also probably lack of appetite as well in those early stages. But then you do start to see, the weight start to increase, and then it can be quite difficult just trying to keep on top of that. But also as well, just your calorie intake doesn't have to be as high as it would have been before your injury. So I think, often for ladies, I think, you're probably looking at a calorie intake of just over 1,000 calories a day potentially. Whereas I think the average sort of, irrespective of a spinal cord injury, would probably be about 2,000. I think it's about 2,500 for men. Um, so certainly, watching what you eat calorie wise will make a big difference. And we appreciate that, for some people, it's not as easy to exercise when you've had a spinal cord injury. So, people often say, well, it's diet and exercise. But if your spinal cord injury means that you're not able to exercise in the same way, then, really we'd be sort of looking at what it is that you do eat. But that doesn't mean that you have to live off grass and dust. There are healthy things that you can eat that are still very tasty as well, and that's where we bring in Tony and usually John, the two spinal cord injury chefs. So I'll introduce you to Tony, just to explain who Tony is, and also just to let us know where John is at the moment.
Cool. Okay. I'm Tony, one of the two SIA chefs. Merch coming out. There's me and John. I met John through backup. I was injured through a spinal cord infection. That was 8 years ago, coming up next week. So not that I'm counting the day. So I was fused from L1 to S1 due to pain and things like that, mobility. I then had a spinal cord stim fitted. Oh, thanks, Lady Marie. That's good. Amazing thing. And so I started mentoring for backup, and I met John through there. I was mentoring him. He's away on a course this week, but he's going to watch this later, so that's cool. I've got to behave. And so I knew he was a chef. He didn't know I was a chef by trade. And then I did bakery. So to be fair, I really lost my oomph for cooking. So we decided to open up this foodie group for spinal cord injury people with spinal cord injuries, people with long-term health conditions, partners of, families of, anyone's welcome. And even if it's beans on toast, make it your own. So mine personally is slugger brown sauce, a bit of Worcester sauce, and a little bit of butter. Vegan butter. No butter. Who am I trying to kid? So that would be mine, and then maybe a bit of Parmesan cheese on the top. But yeah, so we trying to make it an easy, accessible way of easy recipes, safe way of doing it, and showing that you can really feed yourself and feed others really safely in a kitchen with really just basic stuff. So so the last few cafe lounges, we've done a few unhealthy things like lemon curd tarts, and I can't think what John did. He did some gingerbread. I think it's been very bakery themed recently on our cafes. So this month, or this quarter, we're going to be doing healthy protein power balls. So they will stop you snacking, they will stop you reaching for the chocolate or the crisps, because they've got good protein inside them, they've got complex carbs, they've got fruit, they've got a bit of sweetness, they've got some chia seeds, and they've got some lemon zest. So, and I've put the recipe on the 2SCI page. I think I've done it on Twitter and Instagram as well. And I think I'll forward it on to Damian or someone. If someone can screen grab it from our thing and then maybe post it, I'll do that in a bit later on. But yeah, so me and Damian are going to have a good conversation today about nutrition following a spinal cord injury, because I have found it really hard to keep on top of my nutrition. So we're going to talk about that, aren't we, Damian, today?
We are, yeah. So I've done a little bit of homework, so hopefully, we're going to be quite prepared, because when you can take spinal cord injury out of the equation, but it's important that we all eat healthily. But I think when you have a spinal cord injury, what you eat can really impact just how your body works, just how you can function as well. So we can talk about that, and particularly I think everything tends to revolve around the bowels and skin, but also just your general well-being, that what you eat can have a positive effect on just how you feel generally, but also it can have a positive effect on your bowels as well. With the right type of food, it can have a significant impact on your skin, how you can build up your immune system, fight infection, all things like that.
Totally. And you don't have to be, I went vegan probably for a selfish reason. I wanted to lose weight, but it hasn't happened. I put a bit on because I tend to eat a little bit more. But yeah, you can make really healthy, nutritious things, like instead of making a cake batter, like insert chickpeas in there, which are really healthy. They're really good for you and full of nutrition, and they're not that many calories. So you can put things like that in, or seeds, or nuts, or yeah.
Excellent. And Tracy, can I just ask, I don't want to be presumptuous, but what's your spinal level, if you don't mind me asking?
C5-6.
Sorry, C5-6.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so as someone with tetraplegia, appreciate that if your mobility is affected, particularly, then it's not just about how you can burn calories, but just how you process the food as well, following your spinal cord injury, how that affects your digestive system. So I've got some information, just how that can be boosted as well, and just how to keep the gut healthy as well, because if you can keep the gut healthy, often the gut is almost like the second brain, if you like. It's if you can keep your gut healthy, it has a positive effect on the rest of your body. There's a lot of research out there to support good gut health and the positive impact it can have on the rest of the body. So we've got information there that we can share with you. And again, it's it's not like just grazing grass. It's lots of things that hopefully people would just enjoy eating, but they might not necessarily be aware that there are specific health benefits of certain things.
Do you find sometimes, Damian, that people sort of think, oh, healthy lifestyle, think, oh God, I've got to be no booze, no takeaways, no nothing, and it just seems like all the pleasure with food, or no chocolate, has been taken away? But actually, I think if you look into food and research a bit of food, you can actually have some amazing dupes for tastes and like sensation, because I think food is not only just the taste of something, it's how it feels in your mouth, it's the smell of it, it's the taste of it, it's everything. It's a whole thing. I think if you make it interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just gonna have a sip of my pint of beer. So excuse me.
Nice. Shall I start zapping up
It
some
is
stuff?
healthy tea. Yeah. Yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah, no, but yeah, just to answer your question, I think whatever you do, diets often fail because sometimes people do them begrudgingly, and they sort of think that they have to eat things that they don't particularly enjoy, but because eating is a social thing as well. It's got to give you pleasure. So whatever we're eating, it's got to give you pleasure, and and I think you still need to have the taste, the texture, to be able to enjoy your food. And so, yeah, hopefully, with Tony's power balls, which just completely opens this up to all sorts of innuendo, but I'll remain professional.
I've got to remain professional.
Yeah. But with Tony's protein balls, hopefully you'll get an idea that something that can be really healthy can actually taste really good as well. And you'll get the health benefits from that. And if it can suppress your appetite to stop you from snacking, then that's got to be a good thing. And I can talk to you about the benefits of protein. So yeah, it sounds like a win-win to me.
Not sure. We'll find out.
Yeah.
So if I go through my first recipe, one of two, I'm doing so it's 150 grams of mixed nuts, and I've zapped them up in my processor to be just sort of chopped up, really. There's 175 grams of mixed fruit, which I've got here. I've actually done golden sultanas, and I've rehydrated them, and I put a Earl Grey tea bag in there, put some boiling water on, so it actually gives it more flavour with the Earl Grey. You can put, I've got another lot to do, and I did them with peppermint tea bags. 45 grams of unsweetened coconut shreds. I've done 2/3 of it into here and whizzed it up, and then I've got another third here because you're going to dust the balls with the coconut. No laughing, Damian. Thank you.
I'm not laughing, just smiling because I'm happy.
Okay, cool. 40 grams of chia seeds. Chia seeds are really good, not only in for gut health, they also help bowel transit and things like that. I've got half a. It wouldn't be one of my recipes without lemons, would it? Let's face it.
No.
Half the lemon squeezed and the zest. So I'm going to stick it all into a processor. Okay, and I'm going to put that in my processor. It'll be noisy for about, I don't know, a couple of minutes. I'll mute myself while I do it. Let me just show you what it looks like. Let me just see if I can do it artfully. I probably won't be able to. I'm going to try and do one of those Instagram things, when they have it all nicely sectioned out. It won't happen. But what happens is it makes sort of like almost like a dough. Yeah, no, I didn't. It makes a dough, and then what you do is let me show you. You're going to see my head. Let me just, that one. There you go. So it's going to be like that's all the ingredients. I'll put you back to me. So I've got, where is it here? There's the shredded coconut all rolled up. So I'm just going to mute myself while I make the dough. It's all in my little food processor. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. I can talk over that. So yeah, I think Tony's known for his lemons. John, the other SCI chef, is probably known for his chip spice. And I don't know if you've ever come across chip spice, Tracy, but
No.
it is exactly what it says on the tin. Yeah, it's a blend of spices that you don't just have to put on chips, but I think it's quite sort of unique to the Hull area, which is where John's from. And I think they have joked that you can add chip spice to pretty much anything. And if we did like a ready steady cook, you could include chip spice and a couple of other ingredients, and it would still come out tasting well. So yeah, it's not something that you'd find sort of particularly outside of Hull and that area.
I think Brenda found it on Amazon, I think. So
Yeah, I think I've seen it on Amazon, but I think, you know, if you can buy it locally, it's dead cheap. You know, it's probably about £1, but I'm not sure how much it is on Amazon.
probably a lot, right? So that's how the dough looks. That's with all the chia seeds and everything in it. It's quite a wet mixture, which means all we have to do is make it into tiny little balls, or however big you want your balls to be. And I have actually got, see, it's, if I show you, it's sort of like quite sticky. So all I would do is get a ice cream scoop like that. Oh, you see my little Pride tea towels. Get a little scoop like that in your hand, little ball, pop it in the coconut, and then what I would do with that is, that's a little ball, I would then make up a whole sheet of them like this. So you'd probably get, out of this, you'd probably get about 30 balls. What I would then do, I'll make a few more up. What I would then probably do is put them in the freezer, freeze them all individually, like flash freeze them. And then I put the ones I don't use, or the ones I'm not going to use there and then, I would, there you go, another one. I would then pop into, I would pop into a Ziploc bag, take them out of the freezer, put them in a Ziploc bag and just keep them in the freezer, because they'll last for ages, because they're all sort of nuts and fruit and chia seeds and stuff, so they're all going to last really long. Well, put them in a airproof container, like say one of these things you get from Tesco's, stick them in the fridge, all done. They can last for ages. They've got a really nice aroma of the Earl Grey and lemon, because I put the lemon zest in it and everything. So,
and can I ask, Tony, how long do you rehydrate your sultanas for?
Well, if you're going to make them in the afternoon, I would just put the sultana, put any tea bag in, even if it's Yorkshire tea or anything like that. Put a tea bag in it and just pour some boiling water on it. I'd probably rehydrate them minimum an hour, maximum sort of 12.
Okay.
Because obviously, if you use just dry fruit, all they're going to do is stay dry and sort of be a bit miserable and sort of not be very tacky. Whereas this is quite a tacky mix.
Yeah.
So it holds on to the coconut really well. I'll carry on making these for a while, and then I'm making some chocolate cranberry ones, again with coconut, lemon, the whole thing. The recipe I've put online is the basic mix, and then all you need to do is add say a bit of honey in there, or you can put a bit of chocolate in there. When I mean chocolate, I mean either the semi-sweet nibs like this. Can you see those?
Yeah.
The little semi-sweet chocolate. Or I've got, where is it? I bought from Sainsbury's Baker's chocolate. It's like, they're like massive chocolate buttons, but they don't taste like chocolate buttons. If you've ever tasted chocolate nibs, it's just like basically the nibs of a cocoa bean. It's that just made into really dark chocolate. I think they're 90% chocolate, which actually does have its own health benefits, because it's got lower GI, things like that. And with the cocoa, when it goes through your system, it actually improves bowel transit and things like this. So trying to add all things into these that, help us out in all different ways. And
I might be wrong, or I might have dreamt it thinking that this is what I would want chocolate to be like, but doesn't something in cocoa give off like a sort of happy hormone type effect as well?
Yeah, it releases a chemical in the brain that, I'm not sure what the chemical is. We'll find it out and put it on online for everyone. But yeah, it does actually release that happy hormone. And there's only, being rude or saucy. There is only like 2 or 3 things that release this hormone into your system.
Yeah.
But that's a healthy way of getting that. It stops me actually reaching for the galaxy, or there are other chocolate bars out there, but it stops me reaching for that because it gives me that hint of chocolate. So what I will do is I will get a cup, an empty. I've got some double processed cocoa here. So it's Dutch, yeah. So it's double processed. So it's a bit darker. It's a bit more bitter. So and that's all over my kitchen. So what happens with that is that again is more healthy than, like, you can do it in drinking chocolate. That's entirely up to you. Whatever your taste is, you've got to do it for your taste because you're eating this, not me. So again, we've got the nut mix, which I'm going to blend up in a second. Let me do that now. These are really easy. It's just really basic recipes, but it's something that can give you a good twist. This one, I've put turmeric in it. Turmeric's a great antioxidant. It's great for free radicals, things like that. I've also put a dab of cayenne pepper in it because cayenne pepper brings up the metabolism, helps you, it brings your metabolism back.
Yeah, so the black pepper, because I've done my research here. So with the turmeric, what gives the turmeric its yellow colouring is curcumin. I probably pronounced that completely wrong, but curcumin, and so that gives it the yellow colouring of turmeric. And if you mix it with black pepper, that helps the absorption of the curcumin. And I've in my notes that I'm just reading down here, just to suffice to say that it can make your poo turn yellow as well. So just word of warning there, in case you get a little bit worried. But but that's perfectly normal if you're eating quantities of turmeric. But it's also got anti-inflammatory properties, and it can also support the digestion, as Tony's mentioned as well. But the black pepper works well with the turmeric because it helps the absorption of it.
It helps the absorption, and it also, you have the if you use it with something with red pepper, like chili pepper or something like that, the black pepper is a different plant. If you use it with the chili pepper, the capsaicin that is in the chili pepper, the heat part, actually multiplies the usefulness and the absorption stuff. So yeah, anything pepper related will actually help with the absorption of the stuff.
Yeah, and just word of warning, if you're handling red pepper with capsaicin in, don't rub your eyes because it will sting like crazy. Capsaicin as well was also used in some of the bladder treatments, and they would actually instill capsaicin into the bladder to help essentially paralyze the bladder. So someone that's got an overactive bladder, capsaicin could be used, and I've certainly seen it used when I worked on the spinal unit. And we always had to make sure that we wore gloves, which we would do anyway, if we're handling any sort of bodily fluids. But make sure that you've got your gloves on, apron, and just wash your hands like crazy because you don't want that stuff getting in your eyes.
You could even if you haven't got the gloves on, I think you can use lemon juice or vinegar to knock out it's not 100% proof, but you can use that sometimes to knock out the quality of the capsaicin in the system. So if you're a home cook or whatever, you can do that to make it easier. So I've just whizzed up my sunflower seed. I'm doing the sunflower seeds, nuts. I've just put the coconut in there. I've put some nuts in there. Let me have that one. Right, I've got the cranberries in there now, and I've left the juice in there because I want it to be quite a wet mixture because the chocolate is going to dry out. Because I've put cocoa nibs in here. I've put proper little chocolate nibs and the dried cocoa powder. So I'm going to put all that in there and hope my thing doesn't break. Also, what me and John do try and show is that, you know, like preparing like in advance really helps out with, and put some lemon juice in there. Really helps out with not feeling overloaded. You know, when you want to cook something, you think, oh, I'm too tired, and let's just do Just Eat or something else or whatever. Like doing things in small bite-sized pieces makes it so much easier for you to cope with you know, cooking side of things, especially if you've just come out of hospital or you're at home and you think, oh my God, I've got no one at home, I want to eat something. It's so good to do stuff in small bite-sized pieces. Like this morning I got everything prepared out and ready and weighed out and stuff. But you know, if I did it all in one go, it would be a nightmare. So yeah. Anyway, that's that. I'm gonna just put myself on mute for 2 seconds.
Okay. And Tracy, do you cook?
I do.
You do. Okay.
Yeah.
And what sort of things do you cook, or you know, how do you manage in the kitchen?
I have my PAs. They're my hands. Their hands do what I ask.
Sure. Yeah. And is that something that you enjoy doing though, cooking?
Yes. Yeah.
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 And if you don't mind me asking, you know, what's your hand function like?
I don't have any.
You don't have any. Okay.
No.
So it is really sort of directing, you know, the
Yeah.
PAs to cook the
Yeah.
things that you like to eat.
Yes.
And do your PAs, do they cook for you things that they like as well? To for you to try out different things.
Yeah, they do bring things in for me
Yeah.
to try. What was it? Cauliflower cheese soup
Cauliflower cheese soup,
was
yeah.
on the menu today that
Ah,
I tried.
yeah. I've made a note about cauliflower. Yeah, it's a good source of where is it? It's a good source of insoluble fiber. So you know, we all need fiber in our diets, and you know, it's getting that balance of insoluble fiber and soluble fiber.
Yeah.
But also as well, you know, having something like cauliflower, you know, is going to sort of boost the vitamins that you get into you as well. But yeah, just on the note of soluble fiber, insoluble fiber, you know, we all know that we should have fiber in our diets, and you know, the general rule of thumb is, you know, if you can have 5 pieces of fruit and veg a day, then you know you're doing pretty well. There is some people think that, you know, they have to have lots of fiber, and that's not the case at all, because if you have too much fiber, you know, that can impact your digestive system in an adverse way as well.
Yeah.
Because a lot of what fiber does, it creates bulk of the feces. So you know, if you've got too much bulk, you know, that can, you know, potentially cause problems with constipation, or just, you know, slow the transit of the feces through the bowel. So it's just, you know, 5 pieces of fruit and veg a day is absolutely fine. You don't have to go completely crazy. But I think your body will regulate itself to a certain degree. And I know, you know, Tony and I had a conversation earlier this morning about, you know, if you change your diet, you know, from a particular type of diet to another, you know, how that can impact the system as well. So often your body just needs to get used to certain things.
There is a soluble fiber that's, if you're not on sugar or you're on anything, it's called True, and it's actually like a sweetener, but it's actually classed as a liquid soluble fiber. So that is a really good way of, you know, you can add it to your tea as a sweetener.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So that's really good. Right. So the chocolate ones are, the chocolate mix has been done, which looks like that. The chocolate and cranberry, it looks quite gravelly. It's got all the chia seeds in, it's got all the coconut in as normal. But what I've done is I just coated it in double processed cocoa. So that will give you a really nice hit of chocolate, and it's really healthy. I think one of these is like 50 calories or something, whereas I'm not sure how much a block from, or a square from whatever's going to be. Like your dairy milks or whatever. But yeah, that it's going to be a lot less than that, and it's actually going to stop you craving those kind of treats and nice little bits. So yeah.
Just have to be really careful that they might smell nice. Just don't inhale too hard with that cocoa powder. It's caught me out a few times.
Someone asked me to do the cinnamon challenge once. So you basically have to take a teaspoon of ground cinnamon and put it in your mouth and try and swallow it. But because it's of the way it's done, it just dries your mouth out. There's no moisture in your mouth at all. And you end up coughing out clouds of cinnamon. So,
yeah, that's probably one for other people to do.
Not one of us, yeah. But yeah, so I mean, Tracy, if you go on the 2Scichefs page, we've got loads of stuff going on. We've got me and John. Well, like Damian knows, we cook every other week. Me and John take it in turns to cook on a Friday, the Friday night takeaway. We've got a Christmas. We have a Christmas cook along in December, haven't we, with Damian, with you guys?
Yeah.
We've also got on the 15th of October, we've got an event with Keeping Fit with Cordra Quiner. That's on the 15th of October. And we've got one in November for Cordra Quiner spinal cord injury, who one of Damian's colleagues, Alison Jean, works for. For SIA. So we've got quite a few different things coming up. And obviously we're in the Forward magazine through for SIA. So you'll see us in there popping up every so often.
And yeah, it's well worth following Tony and John, because just some of the recipes and just get a few ideas. I've just put the Cordra Quiner SCI website into the chat there. Are you able to? Can you access the chat all right there, Tracy?
Yeah.
So that does link to their website, which when you go onto their website, there is a Facebook page as well. If you scroll down to the bottom, and they're a great bunch, and
everyone's really friendly, and we're on the same boat, aren't we? So
yeah, absolutely. And I know they have been doing a bit of a road trip sort of around the country recently. I think they did get quite far up north. I'm not sure if they made it to Burnley, but yeah.
They did Leeds and Hull, didn't they? They did one in Leeds and one in Hull, and they came down to Brighton. So
yeah,
they've gone the length and breadth of the country.
They have, and they're still going. I think it's just going to be, it'd be like painting the Forth Bridge. They'll keep going. So
who wants some? I wish I could hand these things out to you and you'll taste them, but
that day will come soon, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Elon Musk on the case.
Oh my God, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So what sort of things do you cook then, Tracy, or with your PAs?
Curries, all sorts, lasagnas, sarkas. I've started looking at more healthy. We made a chicken balti, the healthy version, chicken in mushroom sauce. What else did we do?
We've done the tamarind prawns, haven't we?
Yeah, tamarind prawns. Also everything and anything.
Yeah.
But healthy version.
Yeah, and I think it's very easy to just pick up the phone or dial an order for a takeaway, and often with most takeaways there's lots of saturated fat in there, lots of monosodium glutamate, but they taste great, but you just know that they're not the healthiest of options.
No.
But I think if you can find a good Indian restaurant that does cook healthy Indian food, because at the end of the day, Indian food isn't all unhealthy. It can be very, very healthy. I think a lot of what we get over here has been, that's not really truly authentic. And it's probably not the type of food that people would be eating living in India. Their food would be much healthier with, fresh produce and maybe not as much fat. But yeah, there are good ways, pretty simple ways to be able to cook the food that you like, but in a healthier way.
Can I say something?
Mm.
Yeah, I heard Gelda said that she does lasagnas. When you make your lasagna, instead of using the pasta, you could use aubergine.
Yeah.
As the pasta rather than the carbohydrates, as it were.
Yeah.
Quite good.
Do you have to dry it out a little bit first?
Sorry?
Do you have to dry out the aubergine a little bit first? Like pat it dry or?
No, I just buy it from the shop, come home, thin slice of it, or slice it over the minced meat and everything else, and with the
Yeah, you can use sweet
sour
potato
cream,
as well.
and away you go.
Yeah.
Huh?
You can use sweet potato for the pasta as well, or like courgette or marrow, something like that.
I've done it with leeks.
Yeah.
And cauliflower rice.
Cauliflower rice, courgette spaghetti.
Love that.
Yeah. And I think I've often been guinea pig to some of the things that my wife's cooked, which is fantastic, but just trying things that you wouldn't necessarily think about, or just healthier alternatives. But by the time if you've got courgette spaghetti and you've got your sort of bolognese, healthy bolognese mix mixed in with it, there's not much difference. But there's also, if I can remember what it's called, it's like a spaghetti, not melon, like a spaghetti marrow.
Like a spaghetti squash.
That's it, spaghetti squash. Yeah, yeah. And so you can just bake it, and then when you scoop it out, it looks like spaghetti. But
okay.
So yeah, I'm definitely not vegetarian, but I think we try and we don't eat meat all the time, and we do look for some of the healthier options as well. And to be honest, I don't really notice much difference, but you just know that what you are eating then is healthier.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And if you can do that calorie, not deficit, but if you can make sure, if you can track your calories, if you put all your stuff into, I've got an Android, so I use it on my MyFitnessPal, and I put all what I've eaten during the day, and it will show you a slice of how much protein, how much carbs, how much fat you have, and it'll give you that way. And then if you can be in almost like I'm slightly overweight, but so I try and do about 1,500 calories a day, and it's not going to be a sprint. It's a sort of definitely a marathon, but it's worth it. Like diets really don't work. It's getting a mindset of just cutting down the calories, eating cleaner, eating better.
Yeah, I think you're right, and it is it's a lifestyle change, and but it's got to be a lifestyle change that you're happy with, and because we see lots of people that go on these yo-yo diets. They drop a load of weight, and then the weight comes off, and then they go back to their previous lifestyle, and then the weight goes back on again. But if you can find something that you enjoy eating, that it's going to be healthy, that you can lose the weight and then sustain that weight loss. And we'd always say that with spinal cord injury, it needs to be a very gradual weight loss, because depending on your level of spinal cord injury, if you start to lose weight too quickly and you lose weight off your padded areas that need a little bit of padding, that can impact on your skin. So I think the link that Lady Marie's put in there, weight management guidelines for people with spinal cord injury, it's well worth a look. And you can just click on the link and download it. I think I might have one as well from the dietitians in Salisbury, which I'm not entirely sure how to attach a document on here, but
Can you attach it to the post on your Facebook page, maybe?
sorry.
If you can take a screen print of it, if you put it onto your mobile, screen print it, and then put that up as a picture. Able to do that or not?
Possibly. I think I'm just going to go into my folder. Oh, if I go, just gone straight past it. Diet and nutrition. So yeah, it's just called healthy eating after spinal cord injury. I can always email it to you, Tracy.
Yeah, please.
If you're happy for me to take your email. I think, once we stop recording, then I'll take your email, or what I can do is just pop my email in the chat, and if you email me, I'll have your email address, and
Yeah.
and then I can get some information to you that way. But yeah, it's just called healthy eating after spinal cord injury, and I'll have a look at other ones I've got. I've got weight management with spinal cord injury. So like I say, the idea is that it's gradual weight loss. Don't try and lose too much weight too quickly, but just don't sacrifice what you like doing as well. I think that's often where a lot of diets fail. I don't really like using the word diet either. It is like a healthy eating lifestyle choice. But if you start to think, I don't know, if you start to crave things that you really like, think, well, I can't eat those, then chances are it's not going to work as effectively.
Definitely.
Is there any questions for us at all, Tracy? I've got some stuff just written down that I can talk to you about, just general healthy eating.
The main thing is the calorie intake. How many calories should I be looking at daily, and what proportion of carbs, protein, fats should I be looking at in a day?
Okay. I think the general rule of thumb is that, if you think of your plate and sort of like split your plate into quarters, generally, if you eat meat and veg, then about 3/4 of your plate should be veg, and a quarter meat. That'll give you an idea of the ratio, if you like. But yeah, I think I'll send you the guides that I have got, and hopefully that will be in there. But certainly the calorie intake is less following spinal cord injury, because you burn off less calories because of the damage to the spinal cord. But you also do have to balance it out with just looking at foods that will help with your bowels as well. That if you can keep everything moving through as it should do, that can have a positive effect of how you actually feel as well. Because I think we probably all felt a bit sluggish if the bowels feel sluggish. If everything's moving through at the rate that it should do, then that can just energize you. And there's certain foods that can help as well, just with the gut health, because it's very important that the gut does stay healthy. There are healthy bacteria that should be in the gut, and if you've needed a course of antibiotics, for example, that can just strip away those healthy bacteria in the gut, and can have a negative effect on the bowels and also your general health. But there's a lot of evidence out there to support the use of things like probiotics, and that doesn't necessarily mean you have to take probiotic capsules, which you can do. That's perfectly fine as well. But you can get probiotics in your food. A lot of the sort of cultured foods, like cultured yogurts, kefir, sauerkraut, that sort of fermented foods. Sorry?
I was going to say fermented food has got a lot of those probiotics in, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And so you don't have to be sort of rattling around with lots of different supplements, but they have their place as well. And absolutely. And I think there's a lot of you can get a lot of benefit from taking additional supplements, whether that's high dose of vitamin C, certainly high doses of vitamin D, which has been recommended, particularly to help boost the immune system, during the COVID pandemic, because we generate vitamin D through sunlight, and let's face it, we don't see enough sunlight in this country, so often things do need to be supplemented.
I think also, like you said, there are so many different nutritional companies now, like Herbalife and Huel and things like that, which actually you can actually control things and just add things on to if you're trying to change your lifestyle to become a smaller, or if you want to really control your micromanage your calories, if you go to someone like Huel or Herbalife, it's got all the soluble fiber and everything in it, and it's a complete meal. So that might be one way of doing it, but yeah, definitely. I buy my turmeric in 500 milligram capsules. I get that from local pharmacy. And we were talking about this earlier, Damian. I've got 1,000 milligram vitamin C that I take every day.
Yeah.
But you take 1,500 one, don't you?
I've been taking the 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C, but I've sort of noticed that my supply is about to run out, so I'll reorder, and just noticed that there is a 1,500 dose. I don't know whether that extra dose will make that much difference. I've already had one cold this year, so hopefully that will be the one and only cold that I do get. But I think there are lots of benefits to taking just to make sure that you do get adequate vitamins, and a lot of that you can get through your diet. But for some people, if their diet is lacking in certain vitamins, then it's useful just to top them up, so that you're sort of reaching your recommended daily allowance.
Yeah.
So do you think it's beneficial to take vitamin C then?
Well, there are lots of benefits for taking vitamin C. It does help with the immune system, but generally it's more often if you're lacking vitamin C. I don't think I've ever seen a case of scurvy in all my years nursing, because scurvy is through a lack of vitamin C. But yeah, certainly high doses, and doctors that I've worked with, they do use supplements like high dose of vitamin C. Vitamin C can not only help boost your immune system, but it can have benefits on the bladder as well, because the sort of the medical term for vitamin C is ascorbic acid, and by taking high dose of vitamin C, you can make the urine more acidic, which creates a more hostile environment for bacteria to live in. Tony's used cranberries in one of his protein balls, and some people use cranberries or cranberry juice in the same way as vitamin C, because it is a rich source of vitamin C. But also cranberry has like an anti-adherence property, so it can stop bacteria or reduce the risk of bacteria from sticking to the bladder wall, which can then reduce the risk of infection. But certainly things like pineapple juice as well. But what I would say with any supplements, that if you are on prescribed medication, it's always worth just checking with a pharmacist, just to make sure that there's not going to be anything that's going to interact with any medication that you might be taking. So, for example, we know that cranberry can interact with warfarin, which is a blood thinner. So it's things to be aware of. I think a lot of people think that because it's a health food product, it's going to be completely safe, which on the whole it is, but certain things can interact with other medications. So I'd always just get it checked out, you know, first, and your local pharmacist would quite happily tell you.
And also taking a supplement would be a longer term. It's also a longer term goal. So if you take vitamin C for a week, you're not going to feel much benefit, or your immune system might not feel the benefit of it. Whereas if you take a sustained level of vitamin C over a longer time, you may feel your immune system may feel the benefit from it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And I heard this saying a long time ago, and about, if you just take vitamin C short term, and it's like, if you take vitamin C short term and you've got a cold, your cold will last a week. If you stop taking vitamin C, your cold will last 7 days. So but I think probably all of our immune systems will have suffered just through the social isolation, not coming into contact with other people. And I was away in Cornwall for a couple of weeks ago, mostly outside. I think the only time we were inside was the queuing at the chip shop in Par for the fantastic fish and chips. But that was the only time I sort of come into close contact with people. But we all managed to come home with colds, and it was just a cold. But certainly, as far as what you do eat, probiotics are very good for you. They can restore that gut health. Just the general, just getting your sort of 5 a day fruit and veg, and different fruits, different vegetables have different properties. So I think often they say, like, the darker the fruit, the better it is. So like your black currants, blueberries, goji berries, there are lots of other benefits, and certainly protein can help with bone health as well. And we know that when you have a spinal cord injury, you get what's called disuse osteoporosis, where the bones just become weaker because of the paralysis. So little things might make a bit of a difference, but I think at the end of the day, it's an all-round healthier lifestyle that everybody could benefit from. I'm just conscious of the time as well, and I didn't realize that we sort of done our hour already, but Lady Marie's prepared a little quiz. So if you come back again, Tracy, this is just a fun way just to end the cafe. So often the quizzes are sort of related to the themes of the day, but if you're happy, we can run the quiz, and then we can wrap things up for the day.
Okay. Right. Well, I will share my screen. Okay. Let me know if you can see it. Yeah?
Yeah, we can see all your slides there.
Close your eyes.
Oh, yeah, and the answers.
Don't worry.
Right, I'm looking in the other direction.
Let me know what you can see.
We can see that title page now.
Yeah.
Healthy eating quiz, SIchefs one-time event. So first, now it's going to be true or false plus some others. Okay, only 10 questions. First question: fruit juice and baked beans count as one portion of your fruit and vegetable intake. True or false?
Are we writing
Write
them
the
down?
answers down.
So are we shouting out the answers, or are we writing them down?
Write it down, and the answer's coming up straight after.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
True. Fruit juice can only count for one of your 5 portions per day. You can have 5 glasses of juice and say you have had your 5 a day.
Wow.
See, I would have had that as 2. That I would have counted the fruit juice and the baked beans separately.
Okay, question 2. If I eat lots of fruit, I don't need to eat any vegetables. True or false?
False.
Yeah, I reckon that's false.
False. You need to eat a wide variety of fruit and vegetables for a healthy diet.
But you can get, I think they're called fructarians, aren't they? That just live
Yeah.
off fruit.
Hmm.
Number 3, your fruit and vegetable intake must come from fresh fruit and vegetables only. True or false?
False.
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 You're not meant to say, you can write it down.
All right.
You can't write it down.
False. Your fruit and veg portions can be made up of dried, frozen, or tinned fruit and veg.
There's nothing wrong with frozen peas, just as much vitamins in frozen peas.
Oh well, you've seen that one. People should consume at least 5 portions of fruit and veg per day. Everybody knows that. That's true. Number 5, whole grain bread, beans, and lentils are a rich source of fiber. True or false? I tried to make them easy this time. Ready? True.
Yeah.
Question 6. A diet containing an adequate amount of calcium and vitamin D will help prevent against osteoporosis.
I don't know.
True or false? True.
See, I would dispute that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Why?
think so, particularly in spinal cord injury, because there's not a lot of evidence, even if you take calcium supplements, the uptake of calcium within the bones is minimal. So a lot of doctors, they don't even bother to say, take calcium supplements, because it won't make much difference to help fight osteoporosis. What it can do, if you take high dose of calcium, because the body can only store so much, the rest of it just gets excreted. And when it gets excreted through the kidneys into the bladder. So potentially that additional calcium could increase the risk of bladder stones.
Yeah.
But, I think certainly having an adequate, you still need an adequate source of calcium and vitamin D because of, other health benefits as well.
Okay. Number 7. Which of these foods doesn't count towards your 5 a day? Sweet potatoes, parsnips, potatoes, or orange juice. Which of these doesn't? A, B, C, or D?
There.
I'd say parsnips.
Ready?
Yeah.
C, or potatoes. The reason they are starchy food, but sweet potatoes are okay.
Yeah. So a diet of chips isn't good for you.
Question 8. Are Jaffa cakes legally a cake or a biscuit?
Eggs.
Eight.
Did I not say you must write the alphabet?
All right.
Answer is cake. In 1991, a court ruled that Jaffa cakes were a cake and not a biscuit. So you pay lower rate of VAT.
Isn't a biscuit? If you have a biscuit, it has to snap. And
Okay.
that's why it was deemed a cake, because it kind of just bends, and I think that's how they got it on a technicality.
And I think also biscuit, I don't know what the language origin is, but it means double baked, doesn't it? So biscuits tend to be double baked, whereas a Jaffa cake is only baked the once.
There was a program on it the other night, and he said the reason that it's a cake is because it goes hard when it goes off. The biscuit goes soft when it goes off.
Vicky
Okay.
said that the other day, because I was having a conversation about Jaffa cakes the other day, So got blackcurrant ones and they're amazing. Not that I have that many, but yeah, but you're right.
Yeah,
Number
and
9.
also as well. Sorry, Lady Marie, just on
Sure.
that, just different flavors of things. I don't know if you like Fry's Turkish Delight, but they do a cherry version as well now.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to go and find them now.
B&M,
Yeah,
that's where you can get it from.
We haven't
I
got one
think I
down
was
here.
getting a bit. I think I was getting a bit tired when this question came on. What is the soup of soup? What? The word's wrong in the wrong place.
What's the best-selling soup in the UK? I think that's what you mean.
That is what it meant to be.
Yeah,
And the answer is
tomato.
yeah.
Ah, I
And
thought it was going to
number
be either
10.
that or chicken.
Now, which Master Chef presenter was formerly a greengrocer?
Greg Wallace.
Yeah.
Was it? Oh,
Yeah.
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 We've actually got a Master Chef winner that has got is opened up a restaurant down here in Worthing, Kenny Tutt. And his food is amazing. Amazing.
But that
I
was
think
the
we
last
have-
question, by the way.
Oh, good. Oh, it wasn't.
It was. That was the last question. And this is the
Ah.
last slide.
Thank you
okay.
very much. That all looks quite healthy on your screen right there.
Yeah.
Certainly makes me feel hungry now.
What?
Well,
Okay.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks to Tony,
Thanks.
and look forward to seeing you again soon. Nice to see you, Tracy, and hopefully you'll come back. But yeah, if you want to ping me an email, I'll send some
Yes.
information across to you.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
All right. Thanks
All right,
very
guys,
much,
take care.
everybody.